Hello and welcome back to my Let's Challenge of a Ratchet and Clank, and we are here on Planet Quartu, ready to essentially finish off this planet, try and complete this planet, and also get something that should hopefully give us a bit more survivability over the next few levels, because something that we've been struggling with is we've been losing lives. We've lost 5 lives over the last 3 planets we've been to in Altanis, Klebo 3, and we didn't lose any on Quartu, thankfully, but yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and spend 30,000 bolts on premium ultra nanotech, I should say. So there we go, we are now ultra nanotech up. We now have 8 hit points, which is really good. You'd normally get pretty sure you'd normally get a trophy for that, but yeah, there are a few things that I'd probably have gotten trophies for that I obviously haven't, because again, I have done this section before. I have completed Altanis before. So, sorry, I've completed up to pretty much up to the final level. So now the other thing we need to do here on Quartu is we need to get the final gold bolt of this area, and it's one that we can see. It's located just there. And we are going to have to use a weapon that we actually can't use in game, so we can't use this to kill anything. But what we can use it for, at least in my rules, I feel like this isn't a breaking. You know, this isn't really breaking the rules as such. But I guess some of you might view otherwise. But I want to be able to get this gold bolt anyway. So what you do is you have to fire visibombs through this quite narrow passage, and as you can see, and you've pretty much just got to keep going until you finally reach the other side. So we'll be able to go through there. I think we've got 2 more to do, and they're both sort of about the same area in this tube. And now we're down and round and boom. Yeah, and there's the last one, so that's the last one. And then once we do this, we will be all set to go collect this gold bolt, and then we will be done with Quartu, and we will never have to come back here. So there we go, nice. Pretty sure that worked, so let us... And I'm pretty sure those whatever they are, I'm pretty sure you can only break them from the one side, so you do actually need to sort of be aware of that. Anyway. So obviously we had our troubles. Ow. Please go away. I do not like Quartu as a planet. I'm just terrible at this planet, anyway. Really? Why isn't that hurting you? Thank you. Okay. But thankfully, obviously, the enemies will have changed in this area, because we've obviously already completed it. Nice. So, just got to make sure we don't make any stupid decisions. Make sure all of the, you know, we don't like fall down any of this platforming stuff. We don't want to die collecting gold bolts as we did on Klebo. Pretty sure if you get hit by these, you get knocked off, so just being careful. So we've already obviously done a lot of this segment, and it's obviously a lot easier now because we don't have certain enemies around. or I mean the enemy combinations are markedly simpler when you return to any of these planets. But anyway, Slingshot is not available from there. The only reason I'm killing these guys is just to keep getting the bolts. Again, if we get to 30,000, which I reckon we can probably do. I would love to get to 30,000 before we finish this, because if we get to 30,000, then I can buy one final weapon and get another life. Ensure that we don't go into wreck with only 4 lives. I feel like I do feel kind of vulnerable with only 4, but we'll see. We do have all the... At least we've protected the right weapons. I mean, it's now scary, because if I die now, we lose access to the Devastator, and that would be a big issue. But if we're clever, if we're good, we shouldn't get to that, hopefully. So we take those guys out, and now we can make our way through the secret path here on Orxon. I'm pretty sure this goo is an insta-kill, so let's not do anything stupid here. It's amazing how the pressure of losing weapons that you actually want makes... at least for me certainly is, making me play a hell of a lot more cautiously than I normally would. Just that, yes we can. And obviously the other nice thing about this gold bolt path, at least, is that you do actually get a very quick exit, because you can just go straight from where it is down to that area close to the start of this planet, which is good. But once we do this, then the difficult stuff starts, and we must return to Quartu and yeah, really knuckle down and try and get everything right on that planet. So there we go. Final gold bolt of Orxon. Gotten. Wonderful. So that's Orxon completed. And that should be everything completed up to... because we did do Gemlik Base, I'm pretty sure. If I remember correctly. So that means we've done Gemlik Base. We completed Ortanis when we needed to. We completed Kalibo 3. So yeah, I'm pretty sure all we've got left now is to complete Quartu. So let's go to Quartu. We now have the Hologuise. We can obviously use it to infiltrate this area. Hopefully, hopefully we will not suffer. This area is it's interesting. I quite like it's interesting how this game deals with the idea of continuing difficulty, because it's always interesting when you pay attention to games and you sort of look at how they manage their difficulty levels, how certain games, make different sections of games harder, easier, etc. So like in later Ratchet Clank games, you obviously get much tougher enemies because they're expecting you to have upgraded your weapons. In this game, because there are no weapon upgrades, aside from the gold weapons, which most people aren't, obviously you're not really expected to find them in many ways because of their secret nature. So, so without weapon upgrades, how do you make things more difficult? So here, you get a very distinct, over this level and over, I believe it's, over Veldin Orbit as well, which is the next level. You get a very distinct change in the sort of, almost the tone, and sort of how the action is paced, which is quite interesting. That they decided that, how they were going to make it more difficult would be through this. So, we want to get out our Hologuise, and you get the first sort of illustration of how the Hologuise works. You walk up to these robots, and then you say hi. I believe it's a circle. You wave to them, they'll let down the force field, and then you can kill them. So the robots themselves, they do have attacks, obviously, but the biggest thing that they can do to scare you is hit these big buttons. If they hit the buttons, then you're pretty screwed. Because these little hexagons here with the red, these black hexagons with red, they come out small little, almost energy ball turrets that home in on you and do a hell of a lot of damage. So you've got to be just on your guard. So you can obviously do a somewhat sort of pacifist run of this area if you want to try and get through it without hurting any of these guys. But where would the fun in that be? Where would you wouldn't be getting all of these lovely bolts now, would you? So Hologuise. But any area like this with the green sort of levels does sort of imply to you that you need to be a bit more wary. So if we go here. And the robots in general do have absolutely terrible sort of ranges of appearance, so essentially what you're meant to do here is you're meant to just hop across when they're not looking. What's infinitely easier is just using your devastators to blow them up. But I believe there is a way you can actually get through that area without needing to blow up those enemies. So, we'll jump up to here. You can see what's awaiting us just there. Those are 3. And obviously you are very limited with what you can do within the Hologuise itself. So yeah, it's important just to remember that. Come on. I always get really worried about this bit. I always feel like, nope. That these barrels are just going to drop on me and then I'm going to get screwed. So here is, obviously you need to be Hologuised in order that they disable that, and now we can bring out Bongo. To show an example there, the guy on the right managed to shoot me down, but when you've got that many of those sentry bots that are just there, it's very difficult to actually keep on top of it all. But anyway, so we'll head over here. You obviously see the robots down there. When they go inside, what's really nice is that we can just follow them in. They can't hurt us. Well, obviously they can hit us, but they can't touch their beloved button there. Sure, those are, yeah, they are pretty. Okay, so now, come on, really? There we go. But yeah, so you get a lot of this sort of tiptoeing around, making sure that you don't open any doors that could potentially have enemies behind them because you don't want them triggering any alarms. You get a lot of that towards the end of this game. So you can very quickly take out that guy. So here's obviously a section where you've obviously just got to make small progressions each time, and then when you're in between you can use the Hologuise. The other option is to just shoot them down with Devastator, which I think is a perfectly valid solution to that problem. Hologuise, just to be sure. And there you have your reason why you need to be sure. I do like how those robots have no recollection of their friend who's, you know, obviously just been brutally murdered. Oh, no. got lucky there, he didn't actually go for the button. That would have been slightly more dangerous if he actually... Come on. No, you break. There we go. You do start getting bolts a lot quicker towards the end of this game. You can see that, you know, I mean, I spent 30 of my 33,000, I'm already up to like 8,000, which is good. Gonna need all the money I can get, to be honest. So we're coming up to really near the end of this little section, which is good. So... Hello. Lovely. No, okay, so is that the end? I think, yes, that's the end of this area. Lovely, beautiful.
That should do it. Mom? Oh, brother. I'm trying, Mom. I know. Hey, look! A sister!
My fellow Blah, our synthetic world is now fully functional and ready for habitation. However, there is one small obstacle in our way. This pathetic lump of a planet. Due to some blunder of fate, it happens to occupy the galaxy's most perfect orbit. But no more. Behold, the Deplanetizer, the most powerful laser ever created. Soon, we'll move the Deplanetizer into place just above the planet's surface. I will, of course, be on hand to press the button that will blow this mudball to smithereens. No one will even miss it. See you then.
Ratchet, are you all right? He is going to pay. Excuse me? It shouldn't have taken me this long to see it. Drek is going to find out what happens when you mess with my home. What are you smiling at? This is the Ratchet I always knew was there. Okay, if we're gonna do this, we need to get on the Drek's ship. Then we can find out where he set up that laser. I will try to make you proud, Mom.
Just something I've been thinking about just now, it's just come to me, is like, surely that laser is big enough to be able to be seen from Ratchet's ship. Surely you could just fly around the planet and eventually find out where it is. But anyway, but alas no, we actually have to go to Drek's fleet in order to do that, but before that we can obviously grab our gold bolt. The first of 2 gold bolts that are on this planet. We again can't collect the second one quite yet. So now, what we have to do is we have to go to Drek's fleet and the penultimate level in this game, really. So Drek's Fleet is essentially a level that's pretty much an amalgam in many ways of 2 other levels we've had. It's very similar to some sections of Quartu, the level we've just done, in terms of you've got to be stealthy using the Hologuise, and it's also got this section, another swimming section that is also quite similar to Quartu in that sense. Still, we're going to be able to trigger this. We're going to do the swimming section first. once again, as you can see, it's electrified, and it's just important that we survive. There is a second path along this route that we also want to take at some point. An alternate path which leads us to the first of 2 gold bolts on this sort of conglomeration of Drex ships. Ow. Thought I was closer to the thing than that. So, we'll swim through all of these traps. This is going rather well at the moment. There we go, nice and good. So, essentially what you want to do is you want to trigger this, and then you want to turn around immediately, because this door opens, and then if you've got enough time, which thankfully we do, you can surface up here. And there is our gold bolt. I shouldn't have hit the switch again because we're now actually going to need to finish before that. That's actually not going to be an issue. We've got more than enough time to get back. So that's obviously the extra route. Now we can go the proper route, which is just going straight ahead through here. We'll rise up and we will find ourselves a code bot. As I've mentioned when we were on Quartu, the code bot is necessary for us to get the to open a specific type of door behind which the last Quartu gold bolt is found. Lovely. So we'll now head back to our ship, and then we'll start making our way in between all of these various ships in Drek's fleet. Essentially, the bulk of this level is just travelling between each of them. Each of them have their own sort of individual little challenges, but they're largely stealth-based. So the first one we go to is the missile cruiser. And I usually treat this one as sort of like an introduction, sort of like you go through this door and then it's like, oh, it's one of these robots. It's like remember that Hologuise that you just, that you thought you might not need to use again? Yeah, you're going to need to use it. And it's sort of like, yeah, so make sure you get your Hologuise out for every door you open. Hello. Bye-bye. So what I find really interesting is that what you'll notice here is that these the dogs seem to know something that the actual robots don't, because they're obviously on alert as soon as you enter the area. So obviously we can also break these for some extra bolts, but nothing too crazy. Oh, that's the end of this area. Nice. So, time to go to the next ship, the Dreadnought. So what's interesting about this area is obviously they have a strong influence on these introducing these lasers that prevent you using your Hologuise sort of like throughout the entirety of the area. believe there is a skill point in this area if you manage to get through it all without any of the robots actually triggering one of the alarms. So whilst that area is obviously rather simple, you can just sort of go between. This one's far more complicated. I believe we have multiple of those robots sort of coming in and out of this area. Thankfully the dogs can't actually get into this area, so you can sort of use this area as a nice sort of place to stake out. And because the robots, the large robots, are sort of always in sync with each other, you can use that to gauge exactly where they are relative to the others. So as this one heads in, I know the one opposite it is also heading in. And for this last one, I've just got to be fast. Just got to ensure that it's. Just want to make sure, you know, we don't make any big mistakes here. Let this guy turn around. How you are standing on a normal one, I have no idea. Hello. Bingo. So. There we go, nice. Obviously an important area to get through. So now, we have... a nice, simple, get the guy to open the door and then kill him. And we can move to the next ship, which is... the light cruiser. Lovely. So, we will now apply our Hologuise once more and see what's waiting for us in the next room. So this time, we now get the combination of not only four guys entering and... oh, sorry, only two guys entering and leaving the room, but we also have all of these dogs to obviously worry about. Hello. Yeah, just ignore the pile of bolts on the ground. That was your, you know, your friend. That's fine. Let's just Devastator. Hello. Nice and simple. Very nice. Good. Doing this well so far, which is always a plus. So. Screw you. So, nice. So I believe there's only one more ship for us to worry about. That last ship also contains the final gold bolt of this area. Nope, not breakable. So we go to the flagship now, and them bolts. Why on earth Drek was leaving so many bolts on the floor of his ship, so I have no idea, but there we go. So halfway there to that magical 30,000. And obviously you do get a lot of bolts in the final level just through it being the final level. So see, we can't head through that. We've got to come outside. And then obviously we'd love to go straight ahead and continue on, but as you can see there are these lasers, these sort of cannons that are blocking our path. So we must turn down here, avoid being shot. There's the beautiful world of Velden just below us. And very conveniently there is a Blarg fighter just waiting around for us to take control over and use against those cannons that we were just talking about. Why is my ship so overpowered compared to all theirs? That is a good question. Why is Drek not giving his own fighters the best weapons? So anyway, this is a pretty, I'm taking this relatively carefully, but it's a pretty short area anyway. Not much to it. All you've just got to do is line them up and have fun and destroy them. There we go. So we defeat all of those. We can now jump back on this platform, make our way around. Make our way to the end of this area, we can hit the switch. Now all we need to do is just avoid these lasers, which is relatively simple. And finally be able to turn back to face the right way. So we're right near the end of this section, but what we can now do is we can actually head back through this area where all of these dogs were. There you go, just earned a skill point. I'm assuming that was the one for just getting through the whole area without triggering any of the alarms. Oh shoot, that's not good. Go away, go away. Go away, go away. That was a bit silly of me, but anyway. Okay, so now make our way across, make this jump, get our gold bolt. So that's the last gold bolt of this area, and pretty much we've now got everything done in Velden Fleet that we need to do. We just need to finish off the level, and then I think just to finish off this episode, we will head back to Quartu, grab that last gold bolt there as well, before sort of nicely setting up us to just have Velden to finish up with. So we zip through here, and now we can go onto Drake's flagship. find the final info bolt.
Tonight on Blind TV, the event you've all been waiting for, the total annihilation of an entire planet! Witness the power, the destruction, and the nothingness that follows. So join Ultimate Supreme Executive Chairman Drek as he pushes the button that ends one world and begins another. Then, stay tuned for the galaxy's funniest superhero bloopers featuring Captain Quark.
Now we know where he is. Let's get him.
So there we go, Planet Velden acquired. We can finally return home and prepare for the final battle, essentially. Bolts. Nope. So, we head back to our ship, but like I say, we're just going to make a quick diversion before going straight back to Velden. We will visit Quartu beforehand and get our final gold bot there. And then we should be pretty much done. I think we're pretty much done, aside from the final planet itself. So, Quartu. Let's just zip through this. Again, all of these bolts very, very useful. If we can get to 30,000, that would be really, really good. Just really, really good. I might well grind for bolts just before the final battle, just because I do want that extra hit point. But we shall see. We shall see. See how I'm feeling at the time. So anyway, all you got to do is make your way back around to this area, where obviously we previously just transformed into Giant Clank. Actually take out these guys as well. So if we just get out the metal detector as well. Nice. So 17,000 already. Wow. So, and then you just go up to this door. We have the code bot. It fits in beautifully, and then we have this beautiful room full to the brim of bolts and a gold bolt. And there we go, 33,000. Wow, we actually get more than... I did not realise how much this room gave. Wow. But there we go, 33,000, which will allow us to, at the start of the next episode, buy the final weapon. That we will obviously be able to buy. And if I get an extra 20,000, get the gold blaster. That's probably going a tad far to hope for that. So, swing shot, back across. So there we have it. Let's just do a quick check of all the planets just to make sure that we are right in what I'm saying. So let's just go through it. So good. 3 of 3, 4 of 4, 3 of 3, 1 of 1, 2 of 2, 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 1 of 1, 2 of 2, 1 of 1, 4 of 4, 2 of 2, 2 of 2, 2 of 2. Velden, you are my last planet. I have 3 gold bots to find, and 1 long difficult level to do, followed by a final boss, which it's actually a proper challenge. I mean, if you grind enough to get the Rhino, then it really isn't, because the Rhino is just so overpowered in this game. It's ridiculous how much the Rhino does, but there we have it. Here we are on the final planet, and I'm going to leave it here. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode of my Let's Challenge of Ratchet & Clank. A really good episode, and yeah, really successful, and we are now properly ready to face off against Drek. We will have 5 lives going into the final once I buy my final weapon. So I hope you will join me on that final episode of this game when we will try and defeat Drek and complete this Let's Challenge. I hope to see you then.